try that again. Hello and welcome to the stream tonight. I was just saying that I am in the process of closing a few things down because it would appear that I am using a lot of CPU for some reason. So I'm just going to close off a few things here, and I've just closed off something that I didn't necessarily want to close off. So let's reopen it again. It's going to be one of those nights, I think. So how is everyone doing? Anyway, let me get my RDP session back up and running, and then we can continue what we're going to be working on. See if that works. I could indeed be showing passwords, Maurice. That would be terrible. Hello, Stevie. How's it going? Good to hear from you. Did you get my messages, Stevie, on Slack? I tried to answer your questions. Hopefully they made sense. Beautiful. So, what have I been up to this last week? Not much really. Not much has happened since last week in terms of open source stuff. Just sort of been mulling things over and getting a couple of little things done, but haven't really been worked on anything major this week. But the aim of tonight's stream, assuming everything goes well and assuming that I don't I don't close my RDP session again, we're going to be looking at a thing called magic chunks. So hands up in the chat room if anybody's played with magic chunks before. If not, why not? It's really quite a clever little library. So to explain a little bit of what it is before we dig into why we're going to be looking at it. So as an example, in the Cake VS Code repository, we have a package.json file, and that package.json file contains a version number. So as part of our build process, we want to be able to update that version number with the generated version number. So regardless of where that comes from, we want to be able to take the version number, and I want to be able to stick it into there. Now, obviously, that's a simple thing to do. I mean, we could quite easily generate a regular expression. We could search the file for the version attribute, and then we could stick in the view version number with a regular expression replace. Absolutely, you can absolutely do that. But what Magic Chunks allows you to do is Magic Chunks allows you to use a simple command that basically says, using the transform config alias, give me the file that you want me to read, give me the file that you want me to put it to. So in my case, it's going to the same one, and you just literally give it a dictionary of attributes that you want to update with the new version number. So in the case of the package.json file, I want to update the version attribute with this. And that's it. It's really simple. So if it was, let's say we wanted to update the repository type, then the syntax becomes repository/type. So rather than putting version here, you just put repository/type, and it goes off and figures it all out. Now, the nice thing about it is that it does it in the exact same way for JSON, XML, and YAML. So if you're updating lots of files in lots of different ways, you can use a very simple syntax on top of that to perform the updates. So it's really simple. Magic Chunks comes with a Cake extension or a Cake add-in built in. So that's one of the reasons that I'm wanting to look at it. So I saw some more people join the chat room. So hello Pascal, hello Augusto, and hello Nils. I was just going through there what I was going to be working on tonight. So historically, Magic Chunks has pretty much always had an add-in. So the main, the creator of Magic Chunks, Sergey, for a long time, he's been a long time user of Cake, and Magic Chunks, which is his library, had a Cake add-in from pretty much the from when it was conceived. I've always used it. The problem being, or one of the problems being, that as Cake itself progressed, the version of Cake that the Magic Chunks was compiled against became outdated. So I don't want to say that I harassed Sergey, because that'd be a really strong word. But I gently prodded Sergey over the period of, I think in the end it was a couple of years, and basically said, look, I would love to get the cake add-in for Magic Chunks updated. How can I help you? Because one of the slight problems is that it normally when you have a cake add-in, the projects stand alone. So if you have something like cake.gitter or cake. That's maybe a better example. Cake.gem. The add-in never really lives alongside the thing that you're building the add-in for. But in the case of Magic Chunks, it's the exact same DLL. So rather than referencing a tool and an add-in, you reference one add-in, which is both the Magic Chunks assembly and the add-in at the same time. So the slight problem there is that in order to update the cake add-in, you had to update the main project as well. So that's still the way it is, but the difference now is that Sergey has created a Magic Chunks organization on GitHub, and he has added both myself and Pascal as collaborators on that organization, and we've had a couple of chats over the interwebs, and he's happy for us to progress Magic Chunks as long as we kind of adhere to the way that he wants to do things. He's happy for us to send in PRs or commit directly into the repository. So the idea is that once I got a few things off my plate, I was going to start looking into getting Magic Chunks updated. So Pascal's already had a little bit of a go at some things that kind of needed to be worked on immediately, and he's also created a number of issues that are earmarked for the 2.1.0 release of the add-in, or the library and the add-in. So my idea tonight was to start working on this using the issues that Pascal has created as kind of a starter for 10. So without further ado, I was going to get started on that. So unless there's any questions, if anybody's got any questions about what I'm working on and why, feel free to ask. But if there's no questions, I think we'll get started. So the first thing I've done tonight is I have cloned the repository. So I went to the Magic Chunks organization on GitHub. I cloned it locally, I forked it, cloned it. So I've got it open in Visual Studio 2019 here. And I then did the first test, which was to make sure that it all built in Visual Studio. And I'm happy to say that it did. So it all builds. But then I went to run the cake script, and then I noticed a small issue. So the issue was that currently the cake build for Magic Chunks is coupled specifically to use Visual Studio 2017. Now on this box that I'm on, I don't have Visual Studio 2017. I've only got 2019. So as a result, the logic within Cake that is attempting to find the 2017 version of MS Build is failing because it can't locate the executable. I love that I can build. So just to give some clarity on to what Stevie is referring to there on the chat room, we, Chocolatey, have recently moved all of our documentation, so all of the docs that lives on docs.chocolatey.org, it now is in this chocolatey/docs repository, and it's using a framework called Static to do the build. So it takes all of the input MD files, all the markdown files, and it takes all of the markdown files, generates them as HTML, renders all of the JavaScript, CSS, etc., 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 and all of that can be built locally. So what Stevie's referring to there is that in the docs repository, you will find both a preview.ps1 and a preview.sh. So if you're on a Mac or on a Linux machine, you can run the preview.sh, and on a Windows machine, you can run preview.ps1, and it runs the build, generates all the docs, and then runs them all locally. So if you want to make modifications to the doc site, you can have it running locally on your machine. You can make changes, and then it'll automatically refresh it. So Stevie's in the process of making a documentation PR, which I will likely review tomorrow morning. So that's what he's referring to there. Right, but so this one here, you can run. So I didn't say that because I didn't know whether that was true. That's the reason that I didn't say it. So what Stevie is correctly pointing out, or confirming rather, is that you can use, if you have got PowerShell Core, Posh, BWSH installed on your Mac, then you can run the preview.ps1 file there as well. But I didn't know whether it was PowerShell Core compliant. That's why I didn't say it. But thank you for confirming. But anyway, so the failed build here is because it can't find the 2017 version of MS Build. So the quick fix, because I did have a quick look at this before, the quick fix would simply be to change this to be 2019. So if we couple the build to MS Build version 2019, then if we run the build.ps1 file again, then the build will succeed. So I'm sort of tempted to do that, but there's a little bit more work to do with that. So I'm going to see if this succeeds first, and then I'm going to wait and see if Pascal chimes in while I do some other stuff. But that's going to be my fix for what is update to Visual Studio 2019. So it's got a tick here from me, so I'm saying that we should update it to build with 2019, and I agree with that. And for me, the fix is simply that. But there's a little bit more work to do, because currently the build of Magic Chunks runs on AppVeyor. Hi, see, I was on to you. I was on to you. The build for Magic Chunks currently runs on AppVeyor, and AppVeyor is coupled to Visual Studio 2017. So if we make this change, then it won't run on the AppVeyor build. Now what Nils is saying is, shouldn't it also work with if you remove the VS? So I had the same thought, and I couldn't think of a good reason to not do this other than if there was something in there where we specifically need Visual Studio 2019, but we currently don't have that. So if we were to do this and remove that, then I suspect it will still build here, and then it would still build on AppVeyor, but we open up the potential for there to be a disconnect. If something is introduced into the code that is 2019 specific, more likely a C# version specific, then it won't run on anything older than that. What if user has Windows Server? So essentially that's the point at that point. So what Maurice is pointing out is kind of what I'm getting at, in that if we just open it up, then it may work or it may not work. So given that it was already coupled to 2017, I think I'm prepared to just couple it to 2019, and then also update AppVeyor to use the 2019 base image rather than the 2017 one. So that's what I'm planning on doing. So I'm going to do a git checkout here of a new branch called 108. 108 from the master, because I'll do this as a PR, because Pascal is on there. Could it be 2017 or 2019? No, not without doing more work. What you could do would be to use something like the vsware.exe to find out what versions of MS Build are available, and then you can make an informed decision on the results that you get back from that. So based on the VSWare executing, you could say what versions are available, and then you could say if the one that you want is there or not. That's a little bit more work than I think is needed. So I'm going to say that we're not going to go down that route. What I am going to do though is I'm going to introduce an appvar.yaml file, and that appvar.yaml file will allow us to control the build image. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to close this actually, and I'm going to go up a level, and I'm going to go back into code, and then I'm going to introduce a new file here that is .appvar.yaml, and then I'm going to So what I'm currently doing off screen, Pascal, is I'm currently exporting the current configuration from appvar into a YAML file, and then my intention would be to have it mirror what's there just now, and then we can start looking, because I believe that there are some changes that we could make, because there's some additional work happening in here that we don't necessarily want to do. Or there's more coupling than I would like to see in the appvar configuration. So you think you put everything into build script, including the artifacts. So well, search in here. Let me just bring it over and then we can have a discussion about it. So I was going to borrow all of this. So if we copy this, and I don't think I'm giving anything away by putting this in here. So currently, so this is the issue. This one is the one that's the issue. That one would need to be 2019. So let me, how can I get that? Let me copy on this. Let me copy this and bring it over here to see what you're looking at. Integrate logic from appvar into build script. So what we were doing here was the version numbers. So I'm not seeing what I think you want me to see in there. That is version tag. That's just for the version number, but there's some additional work, for example, in here to find all of the zip files, nupkegs, and v6s and publish them as artifacts in the build. No, it's fine. What does that mean? I mean, I'm willing to take your word for it. So I mean, if you're saying what I think you're saying, I could just take this out. And it still is configured that way on appvar, because I've just exported the configuration from appvar. Or am I not looking at the right appvar? I was just not sure if there was more left in the... Okay, so I'm not... I'm going to stop talking. And... Right, okay. So... Let's try another one. Let's try another one. So there's no mention of... Okay, so I think there's still work that we need to do, but I'm going to leave it in the configuration just now, so the appvar.yaml file matches what's in appvar, and then we can work on doing things like this, if it's not already done, in the build.cake file, and remove it from here at some point. I have questions for you later. Sure, Stevie, you can try. By the time I finish here, I might then go to bed. But I can. I'll try. Net standard migration. We'll leave that in as well. The build, magic chunks. Okay, fine. So, what I'm going to do tomorrow, even better. Even better. So, there was an open issue for this, and yes, I noticed that there were separate issues for those. So, for now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look in here because there was an AppVeyor one. So, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do a commit here that is GH102. That's going to say add AppVeyor. I'm going to try AppVeyor config file. Information was exported from AppVeyor UI. Yes. So I'm going to say go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to say that this was issue 108. So I'm going to say GH108. Switch to building with VS 2019. I'm going to say that. Sure. So what that will allow me to do is a git push origin. I'm going to then copy and paste this. And then over here, I should now be able to go up to here and create a pull request. And we're going to say switch to using VS 2019 for build. To allow this to happen, it was easier to introduce an AppVeyor YAML file to control what Visual Studio base image is used. So I'm going to request a review from Pascal because he is kicking about, and I'm going to say create pull request. So hopefully in real time we will see Pascal reviewing and hopefully merging that. And if I go over to here to look at the CI, doesn't mention issue will be rejected. It's got the issue in the commits. What are you talking about? I'll update it. Fixes 102 and 108. Or did you want them in the... I'll put them up here as well then. GH102. GH108. GN? Where did that come from? GH. There we go. So we'll see if Pascal will see if Pascal will. It's what's in there right now, so I can only assume it is. Came from your typo. Thanks, buddies. That's what's currently configured in the AppVeyor UI. So I've no reason to doubt it. I think what will happen though is that the... Oh, let's check. If we go into here and we look at here, then I'm assuming that it's just the build number. So I'm assuming that the next one will be 150. So I think it should be fine. Shouldn't we define the image? We did. We did. Okay. Like I say, I clicked the export YAML button, so anything that was deviated from the default configuration should have been included in the exported YAML file. So I think we should be good. So Pascal's saying that he's nervous to do a PR review in front of an audience. Well, everybody's watching, the world is watching. So the other things that I wanted to look at were, so there's other issues that have been allocated to the 210 milestone. So I was going to pick some of these and start to, did we set on removing, nope, we left it in for now. We left it in because the potential for an earlier version of Visual Studio to have a, basically our build would be potentially inconsistent at that point. So if we want to build with Visual Studio 2019, then we should build with Visual Studio 2019. What's Pascal's Twitch streaming? I don't think Pascal's ever done one. He should. He definitely should. What do you mean this is the wrong PR? What does that mean? Did I not hold on, what? Oh, I deleted it. Apologies. Let me fix that. I thought we left it the way it was. My bad. So if we go in here, can I just do undo? Is that going to work? No, that's not going to work, obviously, is it? Let's put it back together. Verbosity. I forgot that I deleted it. That was indeed a test, yes. Let's do this. Yes. Let's do git rebase minus I on master. Oh, jeez. Let's do this. Why is that not? So confused right now. Doesn't like me just giving in. Well, now it wants to be there. Bizarre. Sure. Close. Make sure that worked properly. That didn't look like it was happy. Sure. Diff. Okay, beautiful. So let's do git push -f. See if we can make our PR reviewer happy. So let's click the button and let's look at the files changed, and hopefully done. Add single comment, resolve conversation. Everybody's happy, hopefully. Why does that not update there? Much better. Okay, so, well, let's go back to the issues that we were looking at. So in the 210 milestone, there were some additional issues, which were to add some additional or update the elements within the NuGet package. Because if we go back to where we did the build, then we will see that NuGet is complaining at the minute. I don't understand. Oh, hold on, what? Oh, I think he's referring to Augusto's comment about where is Pascal's stream, because Pascal should do a stream. Everybody should do streams. Everybody should. So yeah, back up here when we do the pack NuGet, it's literally screaming at us saying that things are not right. So if we were to look at the way that the NuGet is built, so we go in here and look at round robin. Oh, I like that. I like that. I think we should. Everybody turn about. So then I can create some issues for Pascal on the Magic Chunks repository, and he can work on them live on his stream. I think that's a great idea. We should totally do that. So if we were to look at what it's doing right now, then I saw that it wasn't doing that pull requests. Let me have a look and see if we can. I saw that it wasn't building, but I don't have a way within. Is it still looking at the wrong project? I thought it was set up. So if we were to look here, that's why. Because this project isn't looking at the right repository. But if we were to go over here and go over to here and go into here, if I were to paste that into there, what would happen? Let's give this a try. So if we go back up to here, then yeah, I was looking at it. I'm hesitant about bringing it onto the stream, but it was the current report. The current app there was pointing at the wrong GitHub repository. So I wonder now if I were to do a how can we force it? Because I can't republish the webhook because I don't have access to that part of the repository. But if I were to do a change here, if I were to commit that, git add git commit -m bob git rebase -I on master. If I were to take that out and hit save, I don't know, Pascal. I don't have an answer to that, but the @var settings were pointing at the one under Sergey's GitHub repository rather than the one under the organization. So I don't know, is the short answer. How can I force it to it's just a PR, so we could just do a git commit -- allow empty. Don't really like doing it, but this is a test. Save git push origin. Let's see if that'll kick off a build. It's working now. Now that I've made that change, it's just kicked off the PR build. So I think it was the app layer setting, so I don't know why, but it's now running the build. So I'll rebase that PR to remove that commit in a second. In fact, let's just do it now. Git rebase -i on master, and let's remove this guy and close this out, and then we'll do a git push -f, which will hopefully kick off another build. But yeah, as Pascal pointed out, it's the intersection between the what's in the UI and what's in the appver.yaml file. So the appver.yaml file will overwrite anything that's in the UI settings. But with that done, hopefully, we should get but it also looks like the checks on the repository aren't actually looking at this. So we may need to get Surrogate to help with that. We do, that's true. So we are planning on moving to GitHub Actions, but I think I agree. I also just got a notification to say that it failed. Why did it fail? Oh, well, that failed because of the build. No, that's not because of the build. Or unit tests failed. I wonder if that will be fixed. Oh. Oh, no. That's a good question, Maurice. So we're on the 2019 box, so it must not have .NET Framework, that version of .NET Core installed. So it wants version 203, but 203 isn't there. So what's holding it at 203? The thing that's holding it at 203 is that. That's a misnomer. So should we bump that to 209? Interesting. Why? Oh, because it didn't run locally on my machine. I think that would fix it for now. Let's maybe give that a try. GH 208 bump .NET version to match appver. We should handle the execution of the tests in the cake script as part of a later scope of work. Remove the empty commit. I did that already. There's no empty commit anymore. I rebased earlier and removed that empty commit, so it's not there. Git push origin again. Let's see if this works this time. But good memory. But just super quick. Let's see if this builds this time. I noticed earlier, by the way, Maurice, I forgot to call it out, but I noticed that you did the feature chat, so thanks for that. It's good to see that it's still working. I did not add the ticker, no. There's a couple of things that I'd like to play with, not during a live stream, so it might have to do it as a maybe just me and you jumping on at some point to test things out, to see if it would be good to have. I'd like to get the sounds working for the raids and things coming through. Not really something for a live stream though, so maybe a date later at some point we could jump on a Zoom call or something and see if we can figure stuff out. So does .NET X unit work this time? Does it? Did it? Does it? Did it? Oh, it's doing stuff. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so that PR is now successful. So if you could do the honors, Pascal, that would be good. You won't have a date. I won't tell if you don't. But no, in all seriousness, it would be good to jump on a Zoom call, I think, at some point to talk through some of those things. So if you would be up for it, I think that would be good. So the other issues that I wanted to look at were the ones that were addressed with NuGet. So when we run pack NuGet, or NuGet pack rather, there are some what are now deprecated elements in the new spec file that's being used. So we need to fix those. So the first one is, let's do the embedded licenses. It's the first in the list. So it's currently using a license URL, and we need to stop it doing that. So that's this one. So if we go and have a look at the repository and look at what the current license of this project is. So, oh, Pascal's just merged it. Look at that. So he has thanked me for my contribution and he's merged it, so that's good. So let's go ahead and delete that branch. So over, where was I here? The license is MIT. So I never remember what this is, but if we look at the embedded license, then there is some nomenclature that you can use that rather than use a URL, it becomes embedded. So it uses this SPDK license identifier, and there are different expressions that you can use for the different licenses that you use. So if we go over here and we do a wee search here for MIT, then we should find is that the MIT license, then its expression is just MIT. So if we go back to here, then we can borrow this guy, or no, it's an expression, which is this one. So if you embed the license, then you can embed it as a file, and then you can specify that in the license element, or you can use type expression. But this nomenclature is for when you're putting it into the new spec file, but when you put it into the csproj file, it's something slightly different. So what we want is this guy. So if I copy this and we go over here and say, rather than use package license URL, we're going to use package license expression, and we're not going to use Apache, we're going to use MIT. Oh, that's not actually the one we want, but I think it's valid. That's for the CS proj file, but if we do a wee search here for package license URL, then we can update it in all the places that we need to. If I grab that again, so we'll replace here that one, and we'll replace this one with that one. Okay, so now if we go back over here and we run our build again, I should fix that, shouldn't I? I should do git checkout master first. Won't let me do that. Git stash, git checkout master, git fetch upstream, git rebase upstream master, git push origin. The issue number that we're now looking at is 103, so let's do git checkout -b feature, can't spell, 103 from master, and then let's do git stash apply, put those files back in, and then from there we should be able to do our build, and let's see if that works. Excuse me. 49 minutes. We're doing okay so far. So let's see if we can remove some of those yellow lines of text from the pack NuGet. Is still there. Well, that tells me that that CS proj file is not actually being used. So let's dig a little bit deeper. So although there is the CS proj elements, it's not using .NET Pack. Or did I just not save that? Let's run that one more time. I noticed that it was marked as unsaved, so let's wait and see. Still there. Okay, so the pack NuGet is not using this. Pack NuGet is here. So what's this actually doing? This is doing for each file that is the new spec within the working directory. For each. What's this doing? Let's have a wee look. Up here, there is a new specs file. Interesting. Okay, so what's in there? So there is a new specs file, and there is this one. Okay. So this is the problem one. So we will need to go back to that page that I was on, and then we scroll back up to the new spec elements, which was this one then. So let's grab this guy, and we're going to replace this here with this one, and we'll make this MIT. So there's maybe a little bit of refactoring work here to do at some point as well. So rather than using the new spec file, we may want to look into using .NET Pack directly. There's maybe good reason to, I see he's he's packing PSM1 files and various things in here. So that's possibly why he chose to use a new spec file rather than the .NET pack. But I think it's good. It's better to keep them in sync as well. So the fact that we changed the CS_proj files to use the package license expression, it makes sense to keep them in sync. So having moved that over, if I run the build again one more time. Oh, Pascal's doing a PR at the same time as I am. What's he doing? Wonder why he was silent. Nils is saying you can use content to pack files in CS_proj. So this is what I'm wondering is whether that is true at the time that that was created. So how far back does that content work? Because the era of this package is at least 2 years out, 2 years ago. So I wonder if it maybe wasn't possible with .NET Pack at that time. So I missed that. So boom, boom, boom. Okay, so we still got some warnings, but we fixed that one. So let's do the commit, and then we can look to rebase it on what Pascal's given us. So if we go up here and have a look at the changes, just consolidate those. So we use the license expression, we use the license expression, we use the license expression. We'll go. So this was GH103, and this was update to use license expression. NuGet pack was giving warnings about usage of license URL. So let's say yes to that, and let's go over and have a look at what Pascal's been up to. So we've got an update repository URL. So files changed. So this is for 113. So migrate repository to separate GitHub organization. Update NuGet references. Okay, fine. So that's related to this one. So if we look at this one, what are we doing here? We are you see what he's done. So the license URL, okay, fine, and then I'll blow that away with my change, fine. The license URL, project URL, and icon URL have all changed away from where it was. It was under Sergey's own repository and under Magic Chunks, so that's changed to organization Magic Chunks with .NET Core at the end, so that looks good. And the README, same thing, looks good. Magic Chunks, sure. And then file formats, okay. Sergey, Magic Chunks.NET Core, it's just a space. All of those become those, looks good. Sergey, yeah, sorry, fine. Package license URL, those will get replaced by the expression, so that's fine, but it's updated there. Let's do that. Magic Chunks, .NET Core looks good. It's just a space. That's in the task. Okay, so that's into a different area. This is into the VSTS, which is so named as Azure DevOps now. Okay, thanks for that, Pascal. So Pascal's saying he's created an issue to move away from using the new spec to using .NET Pack, so that will help. Sergey, .NET Core. Okay, all looks good to me. So I'm going to say approve. Looks good to me. So this fixes 113, so I think we're good with that. So let's go ahead and merge that, and we'll say PRT comment. And then if we go over here, let's assign this to this. And what sort of labels do we have in here? I kind of label this as build related stuff. So let's just do that. And then let's do the checkbox. That was there. And then the PR that I did, let's just make sure that it was both of those on the 210. I pressed the wrong button there. No, it wasn't. So let's go over here and add this on here, and I'll label that with the build task as well, and then 108. That was already on there. Update to Visual Studio 2019 would be, call it an enhancement. Beautiful. Okay, so with that done, I should then be able to go to git checkout master, git fetch upstream, git rebase upstream master, git push origin, git checkout. There's a shortcut that I know I can use that I forget his name. The person who created Repo Z tells me that I should be able to do, but it's not under my finger, so I don't do it yet. But if I do feature to switch to this one, git rebase this on master, there's going to be a merge conflict because of the changes that Pascal made, but let's just try and take a look at them. One conflict. So this changed to this, changed to this, but ultimately we want to replace it with a license expression. So let's just do that. I suspect that will be the same for all three files. This changed to this, but we want C. So we can do that. Oh, could be Andreas, yes. Whoever created, the creator of Fusion++ and Repo Z. That's the boy, yes, that's the one. That's him. There's a shortcut that I can use to flip between the branch that you were just on, but I can never remember what it is, and it's not under my fingertips. So I don't know the answer to that one, Pascal. I don't, well, short answer is we can't. I don't have, although we are collaborators on the repository, I'm not able to access the settings of it. So I don't think we can do that. We'd need to reach out to Sergey to get that. Or if your question was, should we ask Sergey to do that, then absolutely, maybe we should. Git status. Those are all, so git rebase continue. Beautiful. And then I should be able to do git push origin. I'm going to copy and paste that. That's the one. That's the one, Nils. But it's not under my, I don't know why, but it's not under my it's not under my fingertips. But maybe I should try to. I'm not, absolutely not. No, I'm absolutely not. I know, I like to say that I know enough Linux to be dangerous, and that's it. I'm certainly not a Linux person. No. Windows guy through and through. But I am curious about what it actually does. So if I'm here if I do git checkout dash, where does it take me? It takes me to master. If I do it again, oh, look at that. Okay, maybe I will start using that. Might have to work on that one. Really missed cd dash when I started out on Windows. See, my first foray into Linux, I don't actually remember, but it wasn't until my last job before Chocolate where I was using Linux proactively. I was actually doing stuff with Linux, but that was the first real foray into it. But then I've taken all of my Windows idioms into Linux and tried. I was like, why doesn't that work? So things like cd dash doesn't do. Yeah, they mean not much to me, unfortunately. I was doing this, so compare and pull request. Let's do fixes 103, and then I'm going to request a PR from Pascal, and I'm going to say create pull request. So hopefully this has just got the 4 updates, which are switching to an expression. Beautiful. Okay, so I'll leave that to Pascal to have a look at. And Maurice, don't try this at home. dd if dev0. I've got no clue what that would do. I can't even hazard a guess. Give me what's the layman's explanation of that? What does it do? Tell me. Which one will we do next? So that's the one we just did. Use embedded icon in NuGet package. Add repo info to wipes the first blocks of your disk with zeros. Format C. Oh, that's just mean. See, I could have happily copied and pasted that. Yeah. That's just mean. Let's have a look at maybe doing this one. We should add the repository metadata to the NuGet package. So I'm assuming that part of the work that Pascal did was to not do this. Yes, no, I got that part. So if I do git, let's do this. Let's do it. I'm going to do it. Oh, look at that. Git checkout -b feature gh 105 from master. Oh, did you do it? No, that was my PR build finishing. Oh, now he has, I think, merged. Okay, so let's go back over here, delete the branch. Beautiful. So git checkout dash. Oh, look at me, I'm flying. Look at me. Git fetch upstream. Git rebase upstream master. Git push origin. Git branch -d feature 103. Git checkout dash. Oh, look at that. Git rebase on master. There we go. Right. So over here now, what we should have is open editors. Let's close that out, and let's have a look for expression. There's more than I expected to be in there. Let's have a look for MIT. So that was in this one, this one, this one, and this one. So repository URL is, so it's in there, it's in there, it's in there, and it's not in here. So that's the difference. Okay, so if we go back to our this thing here, repository. It was maybe directly in here. It was already in there. So we can copy this. I'll come back to the chat room in a second, folks. So let's do this. So repository type git, that's now incorrect, obviously. But if we go back over here and go into here, copy this, and put this into here. And then let's do a wee build while I come back to the chat room to see what's being discussed. DD stands for copy device, but CD was already in use. So it copies binary from one device to another. I used that command during a presentation to show our backup software works. Without telling everybody what I was doing, I said, I want you to try something, and type the command in the window that was on my co-workers lost any color in their face and were shouting at me, stop, don't do that. That's fun times is an interesting way to describe that, but okay. Okay, so that did that. So this was for issue. Okay, fine. So issue 105. We can do this GH 105. Add repository info to new spec. This was already in place in the CS proj files. This just moves it to the nutcag as well. So we could do that, we could do this, and we can do git push origin, and then we can do copy, paste, and then if we go up to here, we should have another one. And we should be able to say Pascal, and we should be able to say fixes 105. Create pull request. The whole idea, Maurice, was to shock them. It was a test machine that I set up for only one purpose: testing the backup. Okay, so that's not so bad then. I'm assuming that your backup recovery worked as well. I hope so. So where are we going to go next? So the warnings that we're still seeing here are the package icon URL. So that part I'm going to have to remember how to do that. Try to think where there would be an example of that. One of Nils's repos would have it, I would imagine. So cake.ASCII doctor. Oh, it's ASCII Dr. J, isn't it? It does. You only need to fail once though, Maurice. So in the source folder, I'm envisioning that in the CS proj file, that in here there would be an icon. There we go. Oh, so this is the whole thing with you include both the icon and the icon URL because there's a fallback. So if for whatever reason the package icon specifically isn't supported, the fallback is to use the package icon URL. So we would need to do both package icon and package icon URL. Difference being here that it's being done in the new spec. So we would leave icon URL and we would add a new one, I think, which is simply icon, packaging icon with an upkeg. So there's a new icon element that is just the path to the icon. New spec property is the path. Supported formats are JPEG, JPEG, and PNG. The user will need to ensure that the image file is packed by adding a files element into the. Okay. So we need to put the icon somewhere, first of all. So let's delete this branch while Pascal's there. So currently, the icon URL takes us to where? It takes us to master logo logo 64 PNG. So that means that over here there is a logo and a logo 64 PNG. So we should be able to use this file. So what we need to do then is we need to add an icon element, and that icon element is going to look at logo 64. I don't think the file names are important as long as we pack it. So we should be able to do this. So that's that. And then what it said was in this wee file, the user will need to ensure that the image file is packed by adding the file element. So let's just grab this guy and then we'll stick this here, and then it's going to be the new spec file is in this folder. So we're going to need to go logo 64 .png, and let's see if that works. I see my name mentioned in the chat, so let's come back to it a second. So there's some conversation about 7-zip. We may well do that, yes. Thank you for that, Maurice. That helps. So let's see. Let's see what the output is. Now that we've added that, let's have a look at doing target. Let's cut to the chase a little bit. Pack NuGet, and we'll do that exclusively so that we don't have to wait for the whole thing. Oh, I see. Oh, sorry. I thought the. Yeah, okay, I missed that part. So Augusto then, even though we're using the icon element and the icon URL is a supported fallback element, we still have to add the no warn on the NU5048. It's not smart enough to know that we've got it, but we're just also including the icon URL. Oh, interesting. Okay, so what you were suggesting I add was, So that's a no warn on the CS proj. So I think it's as simple as, is there an example of doing it? No. CS proj, no warn. It's one of these things I also never know how to do. Oh, even better. Thank you for that, Augusto. So it is just in the property group. Okay, so that's the part I was looking for. So if I copy this, and I didn't know if it needed to be put somewhere else. So if I were to just do this, and then let's go. Oh, I'm not sure if that's going to work here, is it? Because we're doing a NuGet pack rather than a .NET pack. So how do we suppress the warning when we are running NuGet? I mean, that is what I've heard. I don't know if it's documented anywhere, but I mean, I guess the NuGet gallery supports it, but if you are pushing packages to Solid Type Nexus or Artifactory or ProGet, they may well not yet support the icon element. So having the icon URL still in play would allow them to still work. But Nils is saying it is. Good. If it's documented, then great. So the question at the minute then is, how do I suppress a warning to NuGet rather than .NET pack? Let's have a wee search as well. So let's do NuGet.exe suppress warning NU 5048. Suppress warnings. Let's have a look. That's from 2016. Let's have a look. Get this warning. Update. I don't really want to do that. Don't really want to do no package analysis. You can specify both icon. Yeah, I didn't really want to do that, Maurice. Is that the same article that I found from 2015 or something? So where did that quote come from, Nils? Is that something we can bring up? The no package analysis flag will suppress the warning even when using. You might consider using Octopack. I don't want to do that. What's this bug saying? Package icon URL. No. I'd really rather not. NuGet spec command generates a new spec with an icon URL. I don't think we can update. So I'm tempted to agree with Nils at the minute. I don't necessarily want to override that in case there are other warnings and things that pop up. So for now, I'm going to take that no warn out because that doesn't actually do any difference. And then when we switch to using .NET Pack, then we can add it back in. But for now, I'm going to leave it as is. I think is where I've got to. So if I have a look in here, we can say icon URL, and I guess we should verify that what was generated I think it puts it in here, doesn't it? So if we have a look at this guy, do I have it? Oh, we do, even better. And if I open up this one, so this documentation, so look at this docs that Pascal put into the chat room. You should specify both package icon and package icon URL to maintain backwards compatibility with clients and sources that do not support. Okay, cool. That's good to know. So NuGet Package Explorer is here. All of these warnings about symbols and non-deterministic builds, they're for a later day. But for now, the icon is there. But that's pointing at the... How do I know if it's... No, it hasn't packed the icon. The icon hasn't been packed. So that's not doing what we wanted to do yet, I don't think. I thought I did. Or have I not saved the file? I've maybe not saved the file. Give me a sec. I thought I did. Yeah. Let's do another build. And then let's just make sure. Let's give it a sec. Oh, hold on, what have I done? Yeah, I know it was not empty. It's because I was in it, but hopefully now. What have I done? Magic chunk sources, source. Something must be open. Magic chunk's working. I'm fairly sure that that's just a... Did I miss something? Oh, give me a second until I figure out what's going on with this. What have I done? I think I've broken something. Seriously? Not entirely sure what's going on there. It doesn't claim to be open. That doesn't mean anything really, does it? It doesn't seem to be there. What have I done? I don't seem to have Lock Hunter installed on here, so we should install Lock Hunter if it's not. Oh, now it's gone. What's going on? Something was holding on to it. Okay, so now don't know. cd c GitHub organizations magic chunks, and then we'll do a build.ps1. See if that works. So one of the other things that I think Pascal's got on the list would be to add Git version, so that we can control the version number. Seriously? Could not find part of the... Did I just delete that when I didn't mean to? Or have I... Is it referencing it from the wrong place? Working logo... Oh, what's the NuGet packs working directory? Add on. Build.cake. Where's the build? I think that's what's wrong. Build.cake. It's NuGet pack. It's... Go away. There we go. Output directory. NuGet pack. File. Output directory. Lib. See, this is where it's going to go a little bit awry. So the working sources. Dir NuGet. Working NuGet. Okay, so that's where it put it in there. Ah, okay, so that's where the new spec file is. So that's the one that's being generated. Okay, so that explains that. So the comment from Maurice is maybe valid. It's either to copy that or we simply go 1, 2 logo. Maybe the copy files is more in line with what is already being done. So maybe let's just do that then, sure. So let's put that in there. So then our new spec is not going to be this. Our new spec will just be that then. And then we are going to copy files from working dir sources. Working dir sources is sources. Not really where I want to copy it from, though, is it? Don't know what I want to do for the best here, to be honest. What other top level ones has he got? Resolve. Let's just do this. Let's just give this a whirl. Where is it? Here. So copy files. There's just a copy file alias, isn't there? So let's do all of this root plus logo plus logo PNG dot PNG, and we're going to copy that to the root of that folder. See what that does. Didn't like that. Oh, why was it not there? Oh, paths.root. My bad. So paths.root. I took a guess, Maurice. But thanks for confirming. We go back over here into the working folder, into the NuGet folder. Let's see what it does here. Dang it. The target file working NuGet is a directory, not a file. Right, fine. Oh, do we need to give it a name? Plus logo 64.png. That's a guess too. I should maybe look at the link that Maurice put through. What's that now? Sorry, I'm just... Automod held a message for reason identity. Allow post will post it to chat. I don't understand why your message got hung up, Augusto, but I'll post it. I don't know. Automod kicked in your... I didn't see it until just now. And I had a typo, seemingly. But let me see what I did there then. Oh, so I did. But it also didn't create it, so I'm doing something wrong. Because it didn't copy it to there. So that's clearly still not going to work. But yeah, so I was curious about that as well, Augusto, because I didn't see the error until I closed everything down and then rerun the build. So I'm not entirely sure why we weren't seeing the NuGet pack error. But this also isn't going to work because file not found. So which part of the copy file alias doesn't it work? Copy file there to there. So have I got it in the wrong place? We have. Look at that. So it is there, but we're missing a slash. We're missing a slash there. Try again. I think I have hope that it's going to work this time. And if it does, we'll be able to do this PR, and then we can see where we get to. Pascal has been quite quiet, So I think he's off doing something. So we'll maybe meet in the middle with regard to what he's working on. Aha, even better. So we've now got a NuGet logo 64, and then if we open up this guy in Notepad++, in NuGet Package Explorer, let's see what. I'm sorry, Maurice. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's now no longer using the icon URL. It's showing that it's loading this one. So I'm good with that. I think I'm okay with that. So let's have a look at VS Code. Let's have a look at the changes. So we've got a extra copy file into the, taking the logo from the logo folder into the working folders, and then we are adding the icon element in addition to the icon URL. So the only thing that we maybe should do to be in sync with what else is done, we should maybe add the package icon here as well. So the package icon in this, oh, we closed it, didn't we? So that, oh, I see what you're saying, Maurice. Possibly. Let's reopen these tabs that I had open. And let's go back over to here. So it is just the name, and then in here there will be an icon.png, which is pack. So I'm going to borrow this guy. Control Shift T. Didn't know that one. Didn't know that one, but thank you. So, what did we say? It was package icon, just with the name. So it's going to be logo 64.png, package icon, and then let's just add it here so it's closer by. And then we want to include from here, we are going to go up a level to here, up another level to here, logo, did it again, .png. So let's see if that works. So if we go over, Visual Studio closed as well, of course. Let's open up that. $20 left. I'm quite happy with the amount of work that we have achieved tonight. I think it's been good. Obviously, there's still more work to be done, but we're making progress, which is good. I thought I'd acknowledge that. I know what you're saying. So what you're saying is, if on the build.cake file, you would want to see all of the various parts lining up. So rather than more so that the lining of, yes. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I'm not going to put in an extra S there just because, no. I mean, if that's what the requirement is, then we could put it here. How's that? That better? So in here, we should have logo, so we put it in there. Perfect. So we go back to build.cake and let's put it into, I think it's only that one project that we need to put it into, because it's the only one that will actually get packed. So I'm okay with only putting it into one, I think. The other ones would just be, well, you know what, let's just be consistent and we'll put it everywhere. So we need this one, and we're going to put it into here, and then we're going to go to this one, and we're going to put it into here, and then if we go back to this one and reborrow this guy, copy into here, put that in there, and then put that into there. Then we've got everything lined up. And if we do one more build just to make sure, and then if that works, I'm going to submit a PR, and then we'll see if Pascal is still kicking about. It's NuGet Package Explorer. But even though I closed NuGet Package Explorer, let's see if it, okay. Build, 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 build. Beautiful. Okay. So we do need, I don't know if Pascal's got an issue for this adding of the dependency groups, but we should probably do that as well, so that that can show up on the thingy on NuGet.org properly. No issue yet for that. Okay, cool. So this issue was, where are we? Using of the embedded icon, which was this one, so 104. Oh, I'm still on 105. Git stash. Git checkout. There. Git checkout -b. Feature GH 104 from master. Git checkout dash git. I don't think I've got anything to fetch. Well, let's check. I do. Upstream master. Git push origin. Git checkout dash. Oh, I'm loving that. Git rebase on master. Git stash apply, and then a quick sanity check on code to see the changes that we've got. So we add in a copy file, we add in the icon element along with the file element, we added in the package icon with item group, package icon with item group, package icon with item group, and we're going to say GH104. Switch to using embedded icon as per guidelines from NuGet team, leaving package icon URL in place for fallback. But interestingly, I've just noticed that, I don't know, Gusto, if you're still on, that warning is no longer there. So I wonder if, yeah, I'm confused by that. The NuGet pack is no longer showing the warning that was there before, but I thought we tested it having added the icon element. Don't know. Don't know, but anyway, it seems to be working now. So let's do this, git push origin, and I'm going to say copy paste. I'd need to look back, Maurice, to see what I was doing at the time. I thought I had everything in play when I still saw it, but maybe I didn't. But it does seem to no longer be an issue. So happy with that. 104. Create a pull request. Let's see if Pascal will approve that one, which would leave on the 210 would leave add documentation XML. Okay, so we could definitely do that. Have we got time to do that? Maybe. Are we even generating it currently? No, that's maybe why it's not in here. So we would need to, I thought I did. Yeah, I did. I did. So the reason that it would not have those is documentation. See, it's not there. So this is where I have to refer back to one that will likely already do it. Documentation, that's the one I'm looking for. Generate documentation file. Copy. Let's just see what this does. So if we go back to here and we look at this guy, let's put it up to here. What does that do? Oh, where's my build? No need to apologize for it. No need to apologize at all. So what happens if we add that XML file? Hasn't copied it to there, but that also doesn't necessarily mean that it didn't work. If we were to look at the output, did I do it in, I think I did it on the wrong project, but never mind. Then debug. I don't think it will be in that one. If it is in there, then debug, net standard. Oh, that's not where I want to put it, I don't think. Let's have a look in this one. What does it do? Let's try that build again. Pascal's just merged it. Thank you very much, Pascal. So where are we? Source, magic chunks, bin, debug, net standard 1.3. what am I expecting the file to be called? I'm expecting the file just to be called project name.xml, right? But it doesn't seem to be. Oh no, hold on. It wouldn't be in there, would it? Because that is running a release build. So what's it put over here? There it is. So it is there, but it's just that the output directory is not necessarily what I expected it to be. So has it now put it into here as well? No. So what's controlling that file being there? So if we look back in the build.cake, then workingdir.net, copy all of that and put it into so what would it not? Oh, because it's not here. I don't really get what the build is doing at this, if I'm honest. It seems to be. Maybe I should look at the build to see where it's copying these things to. Here we go. Oh, so we've got ILWpack in the mix as well here. So this explains why it's not there. Okay. Okay, so there's a little bit more work to be done here. I would need to copy the, I would need to add another line into here to ensure that the XML file made it into this .NET folder, and then from there that would then get copied into the respective folder here, and then it could be packed as part of the work that's going on here. So that's maybe not for today. I think I will say that we will finish that off another day. For now, looks good to me. Changes have been merged. Pascal said that twice for some reason, don't know why, but thank you very much for merging that. I appreciate it. What that should mean then is that we've just got one remaining issue that is assigned to the 210 milestone. There's at least potentially one other one that I think we might need to bump, which is that currently in the CS_proj file here, we are referencing still an older version of Cake. So I think we may want to bump that to the current latest version, or was the plan to get a release out and then bump it, Pascal? Is that the idea? So I actually saw a PR from you, Maurice, to use Renovate, but I hadn't dug into it to see what it was actually doing and why it was different to Dependabot. But I'll bring it up. So white source Renovate So I'm assuming, so what's the difference between this and Dependabot? Why would I use one over the other? So I did see that. I didn't know if that was in this interim release. I mean, from a purely selfish perspective, I would like to have an up-to-date version of the Cake add-in. So we've done all this work in getting the build up to date and updating the meta files, etc. I think it would be good to ship a release, then maybe ship another one which bumps to the latest version of Cake, and then another one which is to look at the different tooling and get the extension up to date. Yeah, and then iterate. Yeah, exactly. But I'll do a quick recap, and then hopefully Maurice will maybe come back with some more information as to why Renovate is better than Dependabot. So on today's stream, we have been looking at Magic Chunks, project that both myself and Pascal have been added as collaborators on. It's a tool, a utility tool, a library for updating files. JSON files, XML files, and YAML files with a really nice, clean syntax as to how to find those things in those files and then the value that you want to update them to. So rather than having to do regular expression updates of files, etc., you can just use Magic Chunks to do it. It's a really, really nice little library. It just works. So we got added into the project in order to help with updating it. Because Sergey has not had as much time as he would have liked to have working on it. So we kind of offered to step in. He created a new Magic Chunks repository organization, added the project into it, and we've been looking at it from there. So we were looking at some of the PR, or doing some work on the issues that had been assigned to the 2.1.0 milestone. Got a few PRs sent up and got those merged in, and I merged in a PR that came back from Pascal for another element in there. There's probably still a little bit of work to do, but we may get close to getting a release out hopefully soon. So Pascal's saying that the version that we're currently at already bumps the Cake version from 23 to 26.1. So 26.1 is the current I see. The 26.1 is the current recommended earliest version that would have no breaking changes, correct? In which case, okay, if that's the case, then I'm fine with that. So if we were to finish off the issues that are currently assigned to the 2.1 milestone, I think we could get a release out and then work to get the Azure DevOps extension updated so it's cross-platform, and we can go with that. Regarding Renovate, that Maurice has pointed us to, it does all that Dependabot does, but also checks other files in the project, not limiting to one source code project. Okay. It even assists you with the major upgrades of the libs in your projects. Interesting. The PR that I saw into one of your repositories, Maurice, was the first time I think I've heard of it. So I never really dug into it to see what it does and why. So yeah, I'd be curious to see about your experience with it, to see if you're happy with it. I know one of the nice things about Dependabot is that technically it's open source. So I know that Nils has done some work on getting Cake support into Dependabot, and he's running that kind of a forked version of it. So yeah, it'd be interesting to hear what your experience is with it. It looks like looks like you're happy with it so far. So good to see. This is updating your GitHub Actions. Cool. Good stuff. And then Pascal, yes, release with what's in the 2.1 milestone, then bump to the latest Cake version, and then do all the other stuff. And Nils saying to confirm he only forked what other folks have done. Okay, fine. Thanks for the clarification. Okay, but I think that's all I've got time for tonight. So that, like I say, this was a slightly different stream, working on different stuff. But there is lots more to do in this project. This project has Visual Azure DevOps extensions, various other things. So there's a little bit more work in here. So I hope it is of interest. There are probably some overhauls in terms of the Cake script as well. So we will be touching on Cake. So hopefully this has been of interest. If not, let me know. And yes, Maurice, I will give you a ping at some point about a couple of things. So maybe on this and on the stream changes. So that's all I've got for tonight. So I'm going to say good night. I hope you're all staying safe, and I will hopefully see you all next week. Talk to you later.